So you've bought a Swift Sport and you're not too sure what to do modification wise. Well, let me see if I can help you out. First things first, make sure you service it. So give it an oil change the gearbox oil, do the brake fluid and coolant. From then you actually can just take it straight on track. There's no real need to do anything else, but here's I guess a list of modifications that I've done to mine. I might help you along the way. Most obvious, then you can see here, brakes, wheels and tires. So we're running a 195/50/15 tire on a just a lightweight 15-inch alloy. You got lower rotational mass, and also the tires are much cheaper in this size compared to the original 17s. So that was one of the first things I did to this. The second thing I did then was brakes. Rear, it's fine. The rears don't really do anything in these, so that's standard OEM setup. And you can see in the front here then, I'm running EBC slotted discs with carbon Lorraine, I think it's RC6 pads. We're one season in now and they're wearing well. I might have another track day left in those pads before I need to change them. As a track pad, excellent. As a road pad, they're noisy and dusty. So if you're using this for road use as well, you might want to look at other alternatives, or at least have a set of OEM pads as backup to change into. And starting from the rear, one of the other things I've done here is, you can see we've just got a single exit exhaust. One of the things you'll see as I kind of go through this is the aesthetics are secondary for me. I'm always been about making the car as best as I can, and I'm not really that concerned about how it looks. So it's single exit exhaust. A lot of the guys in Nürburgring run a single exit. You can actually get a blanking plate for this if it bothers you, but I think it's quite expensive and it doesn't really bother me. This is a custom made system made by a place called Rick's Garage here in Northern Ireland, and he made it basically from the downpipe back, out of stainless. We've got a couple of back boxes in it, so it's not actually that loud. It's pretty quiet. But the reason why we did it that way was so there was no issues when it came to noise restrictions on track. I just wanted it nice and simple, and not too noisy. And for that it works well. We get a lot of track time because we're allowed out early, whereas all of the noisier cars need to stay in and wait until a little later in the day. The other thing we've got then is Tyne Flex Z coilovers. So they allow for height adjustability, obviously, and damping. White line rear anti-roll bar. That just bolts to the rear axle here, like so. Just make sure it's clear of the brake lines. I've seen a few ones install these up around here. Keep them away. There's a bit of space in there. I also have noticed that they can move around a little bit, so you don't want them rubbing on your brake line, obviously. So that's something just to be aware of if you do fit these. They are adjustable. I've just stuck it in the stiffest setting and left it there, and it seemed to work quite well. The other thing we've got here that's not obvious is the camber plates. I think Reddy make those, and it's a hub-off job to fit them. That just allows you to kind of dial in a little bit more camber on the rear, to give you a little bit more traction there. Moving up front then, we have hard race lower control arms. So they have, I think, caster adjustment in them. Then we also have obviously the Tyne front coilovers, adjustable drop links. And then there's a camber bolt. IBAC, I think, do a camber bolt for the top, which allows us then again to dial in a little bit more camber, and basically give her as much as she would suffer on the front as well. And you can see here we've got braided brake lines through as well. M-Tech, placed in Northern Ireland here, makes those lines. Pretty good quality, came quite quickly, so no complaints there. The only other thing that we've got going on here right now, and the reason why the machine's on the ramp here is we're replacing the manifold. So it's actually two-piece manifold runs from the head here down to this pipe. I have just removed that, as you can see it here actually. So that is the manifold itself, with the catalytic converter in it. This is not a road legal car, so don't have concerns about not running a cat. However, I did take it out in one piece in case I did need to replace it. You can take this out in one go. I didn't fancy tackling those fixings there. It looked a bit crusty. As you can see, it's a front off job to get at that. Interior wise then, and I'll not drop the lift down, we really have just taken out the rear seats, added a Empire rear strut tower brace. It's like an X brace, and added a bucket seat. Engine wise, it's pretty much standard. We have a Shimoda cold air intake in there, and we will now have the manifold, and that's it, nothing else. My motto is, you know, as much as possible, just keep it simple. Don't mess with it too much. It's been pretty reliable so far, and I don't want to mess with that. So that'll hopefully keep us going. And you can see I've still got the aircon in it. It's quite nice after wrestling it around track for a day to flick the aircon on and cool you down. It still works. Out of all of these machines, the Suzuki is the most reliable, even though it gets the hardest time. Quite a remarkable little car actually. They're great wee things. Anyway, hopefully this was useful for you. If you have any questions about this or track days in Northern Ireland or whatever, hit me in the comments section. You'll also find me on RMSMotoring, username Coog, and you'll also see a build thread in there on this car if you search for Swift Sport in the forum. And again, hopefully some useful information. I know when I was looking myself at what to do, there was very little out there. But having experienced one of these at the Nürburgring on a tourist faring day, I just had to have one, and it's been absolutely brilliant crack altogether. So I would highly recommend one if you're thinking about it, and if you've got one, get it modified. They're brilliant out of the box, but with a few mods, they're absolutely fantastic. All right, cheers.